I found something disturbing on my wife's phone that turned my world upside down. Here's the shocking truth about my wife's secretive behavior and how I uncovered a possible betrayal. My wife and I have been dating for almost 18 years, married for almost 14. Great jobs, great family of 5, great bedroom. Back in March, I started noticing a change in her bedroom behavior. We are both high libido and average 5x a week, and she's into everything. Zero complaints in that area. The change, I started noticing it became nearly impossible to get her off, and she also bickered a lot at stuff that I was doing, which was normally good for her. It caught me off guard, and it made me feel like she was disconnected. A few years ago, we had an experience where a new toy was introduced, and she became addicted to it essentially, and manual stimulation was impossible after she went down that road. I'm 110% for self-pleasure. Unfortunately, recently I started paying close attention to her habits and realized this was being used every time I was away at work. I could predict how the night would go after I came home, and that ended in pretty cold, straight sex. No foreplay, and she just expected me to be ready like a light switch to give her one thing. I calmly asked her if she was using the toys, and she said absolutely not, and that she reserves them for when I'm home. I knew this was a lie, and I was pretty alarmed at how far she went to have me not find out she was using them. She recently took a picture of the drawer to make sure it was put back correctly due to the fear of me bringing it up again. I've told her time and time again I support it. I couldn't grasp the why. This set off an alarm inside of me. Why the recent change? This ultimately led to me being gaslit and her calling me paranoid. We ended up having a pretty big fight, and at one point during it she said, "Well, maybe I'll just cheat on you." This has never been said in our entire dating married life. It hit me to the core. I obviously started thinking more and realized I have been removed from her shared location at least 4 to 5 times over the past few months. I correlated these to lining up to when I was away. We didn't start doing this out of suspicion or worry. It was more for convenience to check how far away we were for events, moving around, etc. I never thought anything of this until her cheating comment. I realized that after I was removed, I resent her follow requests, which she accepted, but never said a word about. My wife is not phone tech savvy and would usually ask, "What the hell is this?" It made me think more. I casually asked her why this happened, and she said our 6-year-old must have done it on the iPad. I acknowledged, but then checked her phone and saw that location was turned off in messages. That is a lengthy process for a 6-year-old. The next unexpected show. I have a voice recorder I used at work to record certain events that I didn't want to be present for, so I could skip to what I want and complete the task. Divine intervention, or pure luck. This fell out of my gym shorts when I was getting something out of her car for her. I was able to determine the exact day it happened after the fact. 2 days later, I go to clear the files and skim through them to delete what I don't want. Out of nowhere, I hear the sound of 2 car doors opening and closing, followed by the loud sound of a man moaning, followed by the sounds of the end of a romantic exchange. We all know what this sounds like. I must have replayed this 100 times to validate my hearing. I instantly went into fight or flight. My wife was working. I sent her a text and essentially accused her of potential infidelity. I said I have an audio file that I find extremely disturbing. She obviously flipped out and eventually came home from work. She refused to listen to the audio file and eventually agreed. My mistake came in there when I somehow deleted it while trying to toggle through it as to not being familiar with these things. Regardless, I knew what I heard. Her refusing to even listen threw a red flag for me. She wasn't crying, but was in a panic, and I kept digging on that. I didn't have any evidence, and she seemed to be relieved by that. We had a prior, scheduled trip and went away alone for the weekend where we had passionate moments. A couple things caught my ears. She was very focused on putting this behind us and making sure we were okay. Obviously, that is what I want, but I couldn't get the audio file out of my head. It played every night rent-free in my head when I tried to go to bed. I shed a lot of tears and felt a lot of emotions. I tried telling myself maybe what I heard was not real. The night of the accusing fight, I slept 0 hours. I noticed her screen was lighting up constantly on her phone, and I took a look. I saw she had a follow request from a male coworker at 2 a.m. the evening of our huge fight. I confronted her on this and explained why I'm alarmed due to the timing. She was visibly shaking, and that made me unsettled. Fast forward to Father's Day weekend, and I was able to overhear her saying something alarming while I was out of the house. Out loud, she said, "Why are you so swollen? I just saw your Reddit. I was able to capture it and save it and play it back for her." At first, she said that was sent to me. I reassured her that it was not. She was very angry. She then later, in the evening, said that is not her and I'm fabricating things. I said, okay, then who the hell said it? I ended up digging in harder and demanding she listen to it. She refused and had a complete meltdown. I suggested we meet with a marriage counselor and we can lay this all out in front of a third party. I said, it could lead to me potentially sharing this audio. She lost her mind, screaming and physically assaulting her bed and pillows, and demanded I deleted it immediately. I did. After pleading her innocence, she keeps checking it to make sure I'm good with moving on and doesn't want to relive my false accusations because she is innocent. She also recently asked if I still wanted to do therapy. I said no at this current point in time. I said, give me 0 reason to doubt you and we won't. Long story short, I have no smoking gun, but things are not adding up. She unfortunately has had a history of lying and covering things up, but never to this extent. She has reassured me that this would be impossible to pull off logistically. Things are so good at home, but I hear this happening all the time. She has a very addictive personality and has struggled with mental health issues. She has overcome a lot, and I fear she has replaced one vice with the potential worst-case scenario. If someone wants the high bad enough, they will go to any length. Have you ever suspected infidelity, but not had the proof to back it up? Share your thoughts and advice in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more real stories about relationships and personal growth.